Yeah, so tell us about the video evidence that you mentioned earlier.
I'm glad that your colleague talked about the video evidence he has seen. There are other videos where people are talking to the INEC officers and going away with party officials with the ballot boxes without uploading results. There's evidence of results uploaded to the INEC, to the IREF eventually, that are mutilated and different from results at the polling units. Okay, and this is widespread. This is not isolated cases of one or two places. This is widespread.
Widespread okay, in your state?
I am talking about Delta.
Okay.
I'm talking about Delta. It's widespread across various constituencies, various polling units in Delta. They are taking a decision not to upload because that's the only way they could manipulate it. As far as they were concerned, the vote buying they were doing, massive, unprecedented vote buying. I'm unprecedented vote buying. That wasn't enough for them. They had to also manipulate the results of the collations and that. And it's got ongoing. All right? These guys do not want to change Nigeria. They don't want change. All right? And they're doing everything within their power to stop it.
Very well. So, when you say these guys, who are you referring to? And based on what are you referring to them?
All right. The vote buying and the manipulation were going on both by the PDP and the APC across areas where they have strength. In my community, even the SDP was buying votes. All right, that went on across the state. Okay, both parties, and like I said, they were buying votes. All right, so and then after that, where those other parties have strength, the PDP and the APC, they struggled to manipulate the process through the collation process, manipulating the collation process to try to outdo each other. Basically, what was happening on ground.
Well, Dick and Pela, we understand. The truth of the matter is that the collation of the results will go on. And now that you are stating it clear that you have evidence to prove that the process was mad, what do you think the next step, or what will be the next step that you will be taking?
Well, we're studying the results. We're studying the process. Now, clearly, I'm sure we all remember that number one, it is enshrined in the Act that results must be communicated electronically. So the very fact that they were not communicated electronically nullifies the process. Over and beyond that, the Supreme Court, INEC, undertook the Supreme Court before these elections to ensure that it would happen, because we went to court to get an order of mandamus to compel INEC in Delta to upload results at the polling units, and the courts lined themselves with the Supreme Court statement after, that on the undertaking by INEC and the Supreme Court, and aligned themselves with the Supreme Court. So once again, INEC, contempt of court. There are things we have on hand to do. Thirdly, there's the process of inducement. We have evidence of inducement. Now, if the election was substantially marred by irregularities, and we believe these elections were.
I see. So Deacon Pela, someone would say that, again, let's look at the results as you have mentioned. We've had 3 local government areas announced already. It would seem that your position is in a very distant third. Someone would say that perhaps you're reading that you're losing, and this is just your reaction to that.
Well, if my reaction is without evidence, then yes, it will just be reaction. All right, we have a lot of evidence. Okay, so I'm not just talking. I'm talking with evidence. And at the end of the day, the courts will decide if that's where we got to. right. So if one thinks that we're just crying wolf and there's none, then they should continue.
I see. I want us to go back briefly to when you said, mentioned some political parties and the fact that they were engaged in vote buying. What you did not do is explain how exactly they were doing that. Based on what are you saying, are you describing as vote buying?
Okay. Now, we were supposed to have a secret ballot. In most places, that didn't happen. People were exposed so that the people who are standing in the wings to see what they voted, they will be able to see what they voted. All right, so you have people on standby. All right, they gave material wrapper to people in addition to money. We have evidence of this. All right, people were being induced with money. In fact, we have evidence that the state government make payments to civil servants and are not on the civil service terms of service a few days to the election. What else are those payments for? We have a lot of evidence and we are studying them and we'll do what we deem right to do. This impunity that we have across the land must stop.
So I'd like to understand something. You are inferring that there's a possibility that you will initiate a litigation process. But then what about your party agents at the various polling units where you claimed that there was vote buying and voter intimidation and all whatnot? Did they actually sign? Did they append their signature to the forms that they were meant to, of course, append a signature to say or to signify the fact that they are in tandem with whatever results that were collated at this polling unit, because that could actually negate whatever it is in terms of evidence that you're taking to the court. Did you have enough agents on ground? Did they append their signature to those forms? And do you think that whatever it is they gave you or they fed you back as reports are credible enough for you to tender at the courts?
All right. A lot of the evidence we have came from our agents. All right. And there was a lot of intimidation. For a lot of places, they didn't sign the forms. Okay. So, like I said, we are looking at what we have across board, and based on what we see after we conclude the process, we will do what we need to do.
I see. So I do not want to believe that, because you've said consistently many places, a lot of places. So it will signify that you are not assuming that this happened across the polling, all the polling units in the state. So which areas are you contesting at the moment? Because we still have about 17 local government areas to go.
Now contesting, you need to be able to complete the process to be able to determine which areas you will contest. Now, we know the areas where these things happen. There was intimidation of voters in Ndokwa West. There was intimidation of voters in Ndokwa East. There was intimidation of voters in Ika Northeast. There was intimidation of voters in Urie. In a lot of places this happened. I can't read all that to you now. Not every area had the same kind of situation. So we're studying everything, and we'll come out with a position when we complete that process.
I see. Are you expecting to lose by the time they mention the entire 20?
The results that we will get based on what has happened. You did say we have a distance there. That is what is likely to happen. Okay? But that is not what the reality should have been. And we are prepared again to contest it.
I see.
Well, okay, maybe just one more question. There have been some sort of talks about the role of the judiciary in electoral process in Nigeria. A couple of people have been skeptical about how the judiciary has played its role in terms of ensuring justice comes to those who may feel they have been cheated out of their mandates. Now, if you've said that you are monitoring the process and you're hoping to go to court, are you saying that you're confident about what the likely verdict might be, or what the court would say or what role it will play in terms of ensuring justice, maybe for you or for the person that actually owns the mandate of Delta State in terms of the gubernatorial results by the time the full collation is done?
Okay, you're right about the skepticism about the judicial process. However, what other choice do we have? All right? We're prepared to follow due process to the end. But there's a limit to how this system can continue to be manipulated. We cannot stop following due process. We'll follow due process to the end, and we believe that at the end of the day, even if we are shut out at the end of that judicial process, the fact remains that there's this saying that those who make peaceful change impossible make violent change inevitable. Nigeria is at a crossroads. There's no saying what will happen when the system keeps being manipulated forcefully.
I see. I wonder how you're preparing your base for a lot of these things that you have spoken. The fact that you feel that the end result that will come at the end of today or perhaps tomorrow will be a manipulated result and not a reflection of what the people wanted. How are you talking to your base so that we do not see an outbreak of mayhem because people are tensioned for a loss that they did not expect?
All right. I answered the question immediately after my vote. After I voted, I was asked 7 questions, and I said that if the result is the will of people, you have jubilation across the land. We have had gloom and doom the last 3 weeks after the publication of the presidential results. If the results of the governorship election, now we didn't have the same kind of unprecedented vote buying as we did. I mean, as we did now, we didn't have it in the presidential election. So, perchance, the result that would come out would be a reflection of the will of those who sold their votes. However, if it is true that a lot of people didn't come out, if it is true that the majority who were disenfranchised because of INEC's attitude, because of being frustrated, because of being driven out from voting, if the majority, their will was not seen at the end of the day, you can't control the people. There's nothing I have to say. There's nothing I'm going to say that will control them.
I see.
Okay, these people that have made it a point of duty to subvert the will of the people, they have theirs coming. Sooner than later, the voice of the people will be heard. If it's not heard peacefully, you can't control what they do. So
that's very uneven.
Let me finish, please. Let me finish before
Quickly.
you explain. Again, if what they have done is the will of the people, it will reflect, the people will jubilate. If it is not, the people will react.
A bit uneven, like I said before, but unfortunately we'll leave our conversation here for now. Deacon Pela, I wish you all the best and thank you so much for your time here.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.